Hello guys and welcome again. This is Price Actionist, and we were doing a market breakdown for the 4th of January 2023. So essentially, the video that was recorded, unfortunately it was of bad quality, but now we're looking at this, and let me just show you what was the thinking process earlier on and why we at the point that we at right now in the market. So essentially, starting from a higher time frame, monthly, the thinking process is that looking at the fact that we took out this low. Upon taking out the low, we rejected, went back in, we retraced in the fair value gap, we closed it nicely, and then now we're expanding to the downside. So that's a classical sell model. So that's what we're looking at the moment, a sell model in terms of a higher time frame monthly. And then now from there, in terms of a weekly, we can see it's still following the sell model. We can see that at the point where we at, essentially this price point, this one here, it's not showing any clearer model that is contradicting the higher time frame, but instead we're still pushing price to the downside. And then what we're seeing here is that we can see that price actually traded from a fair value gap, here for our weekly fair value gap. We're trading from it, and then now we're pushing all the way to the downside. So I'll show you why I'm looking at this as the weekly liquidity and not looking at this low. So essentially, this low for me is what I know to be a false liquidity low. But let's keep it moving. Let's go to the daily. So the daily, we can see there's a clear sell model that is obviously pushing price to the downside. We can see that price came all the way, took out this low here. Actually, it kind of like rejected from the low. Rather than taking it, it rejected, it went all the way back there, and then now price also came back and rejected from this rejection block. Upon rejecting from a rejection block, the first thing that I'm thinking is that I need to spot a high that we can actually go back to, right? So in this instance, it was this high. So this, I call it a real liquidity high. So then we went back to the real liquidity high, we took it out. So upon doing that, the mental thinking behind that, the whole cognitive thinking behind it is that, okay, now the market has to push all the way lower because of we've already taken this particular high, and when you look at it, it's in alignment with the fair value gap, right? So it's either the market can still come back and take this, or this is enough. So I'm thinking possibly this is enough due to the fact that we're trading from a weekly fair value gap, and yeah, the market has to start pushing and looking for these areas here down here. So yeah, so that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a rejection right now going to the downside. So let's look at an hour. In terms of an hour, what is anticipated is that we can also see that we see a sell model. In terms of an hour, we see the SMT. This is in comparison to your SPX. It's in comparison to that. So the SPX failed to make a higher low at that point in time. We can see it here. A high at that point in time. And then when we look this side, you can see clearly that we made a high. So essentially what comes to mind is we want price to actually trade from a discount from a premium here, going all the way down. So now we're selling, we want to sell at a premium, right? So essentially my premium is underlined here. This is my deep premium. but already you can see this marks the 50%, so price is already trading from a premium. And when we look at this, we see there's a fair value gap. So essentially, any signs of price trying to push lower from this instance, we can also take the sell lower. Any signs of price going all the way up here and trading from this. So right now we're at a point whereby we have to be looking at the market, looking at price pushing lower. This is my reaccumulation. I can just remove this for now because already price has satisfied that. We can just remove it. Let's hide it so that we can be able to read price much more clearer. So now upon doing that, I know this is my false liquidity, this is my real liquidity, and then this is also my real liquidity. So upon price doing whatever it has to do here, we're looking at price expanding all the way to the downside and taking out these liquidities. So we can see price is actually right now balancing this liquidity here. It's balancing it. So this is what we call a healthy price, and this is an unhealthy price. So now we are playing the waiting game. We're just waiting for price to come and fill these levels. After that, that's when we'll take a decision whether price is going down or it will continue to the upside. So yeah, I hope you guys understand the thinking process, and if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask, and if you have a better way of doing it, please don't hesitate to share so that we can all grow together. Thank you so much for listening up to this point.